Kind of one con, sir. In the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 31 and verse 12.
I've seen Commanding General Yohana love the men that taught him just like this. I've seen him do it, where the men that taught Commanding General Yohana left the truth, believe in some strange religion that's called Christianity under another name. They believe in it, and he still loves them, still honors them, still has the entire nation of Israel pray for them to this day. Still does it. Because that is the spirit of Christ. And if you want to see this done again, you'll see that it was done with Moses in the book of Jude, where there was a conflict between Satan and the archangel Michael. And they fought over the bones of Moses. Give me that, Marav. You know where it is.
Kind of one con, sir.
A great dispute over the bones of Moses. Why? Because Satan knew that Moses had left the truth right before they found the land of Israel. Moses had already given up. He gave up and he was just done with it. He did great things in his past, great things. But right before they found the promised land, Moses left the truth. He was done. He quit. When they got to the promised land, Moses had already died. And now there was a dispute between Satan, the angel Satan, and the archangel Michael or Michael. And they battled over the bones of Moses. Where's the young brother in class? I want to know why. What were they battling about? Why would two angels battle over bones? Why would they battle over bones? I want the same brother that asked me the question. I want him to answer my question, Marah. Make sure he understands it. They're not battling over Moses' soul. They're battling over the bones of Moses. Why? Use your ability to understand context to answer the question. Go ahead. Marah, you read for him whenever you get it, all right?
Kind of one, sir. I have it right now. This is Exodus chapter 30.
Shout out Sakun UPK 5381, Jude 1 and 9. Through water, Sakun. I appreciate it.
Kind of Makan. This is Exodus chapter 13, verse 19. Oh, Salaki. Hold on, sir.
And Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, Warrior.
I have that
for coming in on such short notice. My apologies, okay?
Colonel Khan, sir, I have that video of the Black Panthers throwing all their Black Panther insignia on the table.
Let's play it as soon as we get done this. The water.
Sir.
All right, go ahead.
Khan, sir. This is the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 9. Yet Michael, the archangel, contended with the devil. He disputed about the body of Moses.
About the what?
The body of Moses.
About Moses, about his soul, his reputation. About what?
The body of Moses.
Michael and Satan are disputing, arguing about the body of Moses, his body. Why? Moses was dead already. What are they arguing over? Let me give the brother 10 seconds to try to answer the question. It's right in front of your face, young warrior. Try to give it a shot.
Colonel Khan, sir. He says, Captain Darmov said, Salaki, sir, an honorable burial.
Give him a hand. He said he spoke well. Be indicio. That's what they're arguing about. Satan wants to bury him anywhere, burn him, throw him under a bridge, or throw him under in a ditch or under some tree, or burn him, whatever. Satan doesn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's Officer Hadarmoth out of Atlanta.
I'm sorry, Officer Hadarmoth out of Atlanta. He wants to say something now. No,
that's the brother who commented. I think
Officer Hadarmoth out of Atlanta. That's the brother that made the comment. The water boy. Yeah, they're fighting. Satan doesn't want to honor this dead body. He doesn't want to give it any honor. Michael does. Michael wants to forgive how he ended his life and honor him for what he did in the prime of life. That's what Michael wants to do. Michael wants to wink his eye at the mistakes he made. And Michael wants to honor him for the good that he did. You see, that's the spirit of Christ.
Shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well in all truth and sincerity. Shalom, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. The house of David, starting with the 144,000, followed by the 1/3 remnant. Shalom. First John the Baptist, and now Moses. All right, ISUPK is just going the hell off, man, waxing worse and worse. You know, these false prophets, all of them, man. ISUPK, IUIC, GOCC, HOI, Wi-Fi, all these other counts, man. They're waxing worse and worse, man. So here you heard this reprobate demon bug out General Mahayaman or whatever his name is, you know, sipping his yak, you know, saying that Moses fell out the truth, saying that Moses gave up, man, which is a blatant, bold-faced lie, man. All right, Moses died in the faith, man. Now, Moses went off and was punished for it, but that doesn't mean that he fell out or he gave up. You know, Moses was a man of the Lord, man. That's well known, man. Moses is a man of the Lord. Moses is of the elect. All right. So the inspiration for this video came from a lesson that Elder Monat Tazakba of Great Millstone, South Carolina did. You see it right here. ISUPK, Moses left the truth. All right, so that's what the inspiration for this lesson that I'm doing now. That's why I got the inspiration to do this lesson from, man. So go check out the Elder's video and subscribe to his page if you haven't already. His page is GMS South Carolina 08. All right. So yeah, man. This guy General Mahayaman is going the hell off, man. All right. Like I say, you see in the clip, he drinking, sipping on his yak. You know, spirits on him, demons on him. All right. Every brother can't deal with that liquor, man, that strong drink. And the scriptures talk about how wine is a mocker and strong drink and all that, man. So if you can't handle it, if it don't put the right spirit on you, then don't do it. As simple as that, man. All right, but that's not what this lesson is about. This lesson is about Moses was and is and will always be a man of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. All right? So I'm going to start with him saying that Moses, because of course everybody know the account where Moses struck the rock at the waters of Meribah, and for that, the Lord forbade him to enter into the promised land as Moses. All right? But he came back as who? King David, if you can receive it, man. Moses is King David, which is Zerubbabel, all right, which is Peter, which is King Mashah. All right, if you can receive it, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, man. All right. So Moses didn't give up, man. Moses died an honorable death, man. Moses died in the faith. All right? Because he said Moses had already given up. Moses just forgot. Moses just gave up on it all, left it all, man. No, that's a damn lie, man. Let's start with that. Deuteronomy. Let's start in the 33rd chapter. Moses went out in the faith, man. Moses went out honorably. Deuteronomy 33. You see the subheading, the blessing of Moses. Deuteronomy 33:1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of the Most High, blessed the children of Israel before his death. So if Moses fell out of the truth, if Moses departed from the faith, left the faith, gave up, how would he have blessed Israel right before his passing, man? All right, right before he left the earth. How would he bless them if the Spirit wasn't on Moses, man? How did he bless Israel and lay hands on and anointed Joshua before his death, man? If Moses left the faith, man. You niggas are wicked, man. Moses blessed the children of Israel before he died, laid hands on Joshua, man. That's how Joshua was able to do what he did through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. Because Moses was a man of the Lord. The Lord had anointed and appointed Moses. And Moses, before his death, he laid hands on Joshua, man. So it was all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah. The Lord was working through his chosen men, man. You know? So Moses blessed the children of Israel before his death, man. Moses didn't die an unbeliever just because he was punished for striking the rock. All right. And his punishment wasn't for striking the rock in itself. His punishment was that he didn't glorify and exalt Yahweh Shem Shah. He didn't give credit to Yahweh Shem Shah when he did it. All right. That's where the sin came. That's where the disobedience came. All right. But Moses wanted to enter into the land. Moses just didn't give up. Moses prayed and begged the Lord to enter into the land. Let's go back to let's stay in Deuteronomy. Let's go to the 3rd chapter. Talking about Moses gave up. That's bullshit, man. Moses wanted to enter into the land. Moses was still going strong in the faith, man. But his punishment, his judgment was not to be able to enter into the land. Deuteronomy 3. Where is it? Matter of fact, Deuteronomy 3, I think it's in the latter part, maybe in the middle. Yep, here we go. Deuteronomy 23 and 3. This is Moses speaking. And I besought the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah at that time, saying, O Lord Yahweh Shem Shah, power, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand. For what the Most High is there in heaven or in earth that can do according to thy works, according to thy might. Verse 25, this is the point. I pray thee, let me go over. Moses was ready to go, man. Moses wanted to enter into the promised land. Moses just didn't give up and throw in the towel. I pray thee, let me go over and see thy good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain and Lebanon. All right, so Moses wanted to go into the land, man. Moses just didn't give up and say, forget it. No, Moses remained faithful. Moses wanted to keep going, man. But, you know, he had done what the Lord raised him up to do. He fulfilled his purpose, and it was time for him to depart, man. Go back to the spirit realm and rest with his fathers. You know? The Lord was still dealing with Moses when Moses died, man. That's how he was able to bless the children of Israel and lay hands on Joshua and anoint Joshua. Because the Lord was still dealing with him. Deuteronomy 3 and 26. But the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah was wroth with me for your sakes, and would not hear me. And the Lord said unto me, Salakia. Hate when. And the Lord said unto me, let it suffice thee, speak no more of me unto this matter. So people might, you know, they'll try to use this and say, see, the Lord wasn't dealing with Moses. The Lord wasn't dealing with Moses. He ain't hear his prayer. He ain't let him go. No, that means the Lord had already set Moses' judgment, man. All right. That doesn't mean the Lord didn't literally hear Moses' prayer. It means, you know, Moses wanted to go into the land, but the Lord had already decided, no, Moses, you can't go. You know, this is your judgment for not giving me the glory and the praise upon striking the rock. You know, so that was just his judgment, man. That doesn't mean the Lord wasn't dealing with Moses. All right. And further proof that we know the Lord was, Moses was still in the faith and the Lord was still dealing with him upon his death. Let's go to Joshua. Let's go to Joshua, man. See, these guys are false prophets. Joshua chapter 1. So this is after the death of Moses, right? You see the subheading, the Most High's charge to Joshua. Joshua 1 and 1. Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying. So after Moses died, why is the Lord still referring to Moses as his servant? This is after Moses had died, right? So if he died in unbelief, if he departed from the faith, If Moses left the truth, if Moses fell out of the truth, why is the Lord still saying Moses is his servant? Even after he passed, man. All right, because Moses went out in the faith, man. Moses simply, it's simple. It was just his judgment, his punishment not to be able to go into the land. That's just that simple. Verse 2, it keeps going. Joshua 1 and 2. Moses, my servant, is dead. So this is after the death of Moses. The Lord still is saying, Moses is my servant. Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give them, even the children of Israel. So the point is, the Lord is still referring to Moses as his servant. Even after his death, because Moses went out in the faith, man. Plain and simple. All right. If Moses had died an unbeliever and denied Yahweh Bashim Awashah, prior to his death and in his death, then Moses wouldn't be talked about to this day, man. The works of Moses is still being mentioned to this very day. That's why Moses is mentioned heavily in the New Testament and the Apocrypha, man. All right. Moses is mentioned all throughout the scriptures because Moses didn't fall out of the truth. It would have been written of how Moses would have been written as a bad example if he departed from the faith and fell out of the truth, man. That would have been written. That's not written because it's not true. It didn't happen. Moses died in the faith, man. The scriptures say, when a righteous person turn from their righteousness and go back into the world, fall out of the truth, does wickedly, then none of their righteous works shall be remembered. That's in this matter of fact. Let's go get it. Don't just take my word for it. Let's get the scripture. Ezekiel 18. I know it's Ezekiel the 18th chapter. When you fall out of the truth, it don't matter what you did in your past. If you fall out of the truth and you don't endure to the end, none of your works and your righteousness is going to be remembered. Moses' works and his deeds are remembered all throughout the scriptures, man. That's how we know Moses died in the faith, man. Moses died a believer. Moses died doing the work. All right. Ezekiel 18. And, Ezekiel 18 and 24. But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, in them shall he die. So if had Moses fell out of the truth and departed from the faith, Moses wouldn't be mentioned past the book of Deuteronomy. If he fell out of the faith, then Moses wouldn't be mentioned, man. His works wouldn't be mentioned. His servitude wouldn't be mentioned if he fell out of the faith and didn't fulfill what the Lord ordained him to do, man. If Moses didn't endure to the end, all his works would have been forgotten, never to be mentioned again, man. Moses is a servant of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Moses is a man. Moses is of the elect. Moses is the head of the church if you can receive it. If you get my drift, if you picking up what I'm putting down, because people are saying, no, David is the head of the church. Who is David in the reincarnation? If you can receive it, man. Moses. Oh, Peter was the head of the church. All of them are the same spirit, man. Like I said, Moses, King David. Matter of fact, because that spirit the Lord was always dealing with that spirit, man. Abel. All right. Moses. All right. Matter of fact, Abel. I'm just going to think of all his reincarnations off the top of my head. Abel. Jacob. King David. Matter of fact, Moses, Abel, Jacob, let's see. Yep. King David, Zerubbabel, all right, and Peter, and King Marshall in these latter days, man. That's all the same spirit in the reincarnation, if you can receive it. So had Moses fell out of the truth, we wouldn't be talking about him to this day, man. His accounts wouldn't be written and spoken about in the New Testament. Yahweh Shah spake about Moses, man. Let's go there. And Lord willing, this is making sense. This is the book of St. John, chapter 5. In verse, I'll go straight to the point. St. John chapter 5 and verse 26. Red Lady Howard Shah speaking. For if ye had believed Moses, ye would have believed me. For he wrote of me. Yeah, man. So the Lord was always and is always dealing with Moses, man. All right. Because Yahweh Shah was on one accord with Moses. Yahweh Shah didn't disagree or disannul Moses' works and writings, man. All right. Meaning the law. Okay. So Moses is a servant of Yahweh Shah. All right, now let's go to let's get that account. Jude 1 and 9. I know I'm being long-winded, but bear with me. You know, this is all for edification. Matter of fact, Jude 1 and 9, because this is the topic of the discussion, right? Jude 1 and 9. Yet Michael, the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Lord rebuke thee. All right. So Michael and the spiritual demon Satan fought, all right, disputed over the body of Moses, right? Now the scriptures doesn't explicitly state why. All right. But it gives us clues, man. You know, now this is only my humble opinion. Like I said, the Bible doesn't give us a definitive answer, you know, but, you know, I think the spiritual demon Satan wanted to use Moses' body as a shrine to get the children of Israel to go off. Because, you know, our biggest sin and kryptonite to us is idolatry. You know, our people love idolatrous images, man. All right, graven images. All right, and I think, like I say, this is my humble opinion. This is not in the scriptures. All right, I'm just speaking as a man, but it is a plausible answer. All right, I'm not saying that this is the definitive answer. I'm saying it's plausible. All right, I think, you know, the spiritual demon Satan wanted to use Moses' body, his bones, all right, to get the children of Israel to set up a to set up a shrine, all right, to Moses. So they'll worship Moses, all right, his grave site, so to speak, instead of worshiping Yahweh Shah. You know, because during the transfiguration, when Moses appeared alongside Yahweh Shah and Elijah, all right, the apostle, who was it, Peter, that wanted to make a shrine for Moses, Elijah, and Yahweh Shah. All right, but that goes back to the ancient world when Moses died. You know, it makes sense that the children of Israel would have made a shrine and been, you know, sacrificing at the shrine of Moses and worshiping Moses' corpse and bowing, you know, at the shrine of Moses, man. You know, like I said, that's not written, but that is plausible. All right. And really, man, you know, that's just what the spiritual demon Satan does. He tries to use the servants of the Lord, man. All right. That's really the most plausible answer. The most likely correct answer is that the spiritual demon Satan just wants to use the servants of the Lord and get other people to go off to heap as many souls unto himself that he can, man. You know? Because all throughout the scriptures, that's what Satan does. All right? He tries to get the servants of the Lord to go off, man. All right, let's go to Job. Job, the first chapter. Job 1 and I'll start at 6. Job 1 and 6. Now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. All right. So that's what Satan does, man. He just goes to and fro in the earth seeking who he may devour. So the body of Moses Satan wanted to use the body of Moses, man, to get the children of Israel to go off, man. You know? And that's what Satan does. Satan just wants to use, the servants. Basically, the spiritual demon Satan basically accused Job, saying that Job would go off if the Lord punished him. So that's what Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, does, man. He accuses the servants of Yahweh Shem Shah. The Lord uses the spiritual demon Satan to test us, man. Because Satan does accuse us, man. All right. But it's a test to us because we know Satan does not disobey Yahweh Shem Shah. Satan is on the complete order when it comes to obeying Yahweh Shem Shah. So the Lord uses the spiritual demon Satan to get the servants of the Lord to go off, man. All right. And it's plausible that he wanted to use the body of Moses to get the children of Israel to make a shrine for Moses, man. And that's just, like I said, that's just what Satan does, man. Try to get the servants to go off, man. Just like you get Zechariah, the 3rd chapter. Because it's plausible that, the spiritual demon Satan wanted to use Moses' sin against him, man. In striking the rock. He wanted to use that to accuse Moses, man, but the Lord had mercy. All right. Now the Lord punished Moses in not letting him go into the promised land, but it's plausible that the spiritual demon Satan wanted to was going to use that to hold that against Moses, man, and say, look, see, how Moses your servant, look what he did. He ain't even glorify you when you gave him the power to do a miracle and bring water forth from a rock. Because just like when you get here, when you go to Zechariah, the 3rd chapter, all right, in verse 1, Zechariah 3 and 1, and he shewed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. All right. Verse 2, and the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? So when you go back to Jude, all right, so Satan was ready to accuse Joshua, because Joshua, it was written that Joshua had the filthy garments, right? All right, which we believe that the high priest Ariah, when he went off, upon having learned that from the apostles, of Great Millstone. So just like the Satan could have very well wanted to hold Moses' sin against him, all right, he did the same thing here with Joshua the high priest. He was ready to accuse Joshua, man, which is a servant of Yahweh Shem Shah, man of the elect. All right. So when you go back to Jude 1 and 9, that could have very well been the case. All right. While Satan wanted Moses' body, man. All right. So that, it's plausible. Like I said, that's not the definitive answer. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying it's plausible. It makes sense. It could be the answer. I'm not saying that it is. All right, I can't stress that enough. That's not doctrine. I'm not saying that's a definitive answer. That's just me speaking as a man in my humble opinion. All right. So that doesn't mean that Moses fell out of the faith just because Satan wanted his body, man. All right. Satan wanted Peter. All right. Satan wanted Peter just like he wanted Moses. All right. Because like I said, if you can receive it, Peter is who in the reincarnation? Moses. All right. So Satan wanted, just like they disputed here in this county in Jude over the body of Moses, even while Peter was alive, Satan wanted Moses, man. Let's get that account. Let's see, Satan. I'll just see if it comes up. Sif. Yep, Luke 22 and 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, this is Peter. All right, behold, Satan had desired to have you that he may sift you as wheat. So does this mean that the Lord isn't? So does this? Salaki, I'm excited. So does this mean that the Lord wasn't dealing with Peter either, since Satan wanted him? General Mahayaman, ISUPK. What about this right here, man? So I guess Peter fell out of the truth too, since Satan wanted him. Satan tempted Yahushua. Go read Matthew the 4th chapter. Because like I said, that's just the job of Satan, man, to tempt us and to try to get as many souls as possible, man. Read Matthew the 4th chapter. Satan came to Yahushua. That's Satan's job, man. So just because Satan fought over the body of Moses, that don't mean that Moses gave up and fell out of the truth and denounced Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. No, man. Moses is written about in the New Testament, man. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, the 3rd chapter. Let's see if Moses fell out, or was the Lord still dealing with Moses, man, and still using Moses and mentioning Moses. Hebrews 3 and 1. Wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Hamashiach Yahushua. This is the point, verse 2. Who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moses was faithful in all his house. So Moses was faithful in all the house of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. All right. Moses was faithful in the house of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It doesn't say Moses departed from the faith. Don't say Moses fell out of the truth. Don't say that the Lord stopped dealing with Moses. It said Moses was faithful in all his house, man. All right, let's jump down to verse 5 even further. Hebrews 3 and 5. And Moses verily was faithful in all his house as a servant for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after, man. Moses is a man of the Lord. Moses is of the elect, man. So all Moses is working, everything that he did and how the Lord dealt with him was to be for a testimony to be spoken after Moses died, man. Talking that bullshit, talking about Moses fell out of the truth, man. Like I read in Ezekiel 18 and 24, if Moses fell out, then he wouldn't be remembered, man. He wouldn't be spoken about. Come on, man. It's plain. You niggas are wicked, man. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Matter of fact, it's another one I want. Let's see. Was it? Yeah, let's go ahead to the Apocrypha. Let's go to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 43rd chapter. Matter of fact, that's Salaki, the 44th chapter. Because this gives the account of elect men, servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And Moses is mentioned among these men, as we're about to read, man. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 44 and verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions. All right. I'm going to jump down to verse 7. All these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times. There be of them that had left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. All right. They have left a name behind them, man. And Moses is included in that. Verse 9. And there be some which have no memorial, who are perished as though they have never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. So if Moses was among these in verse 9, then he wouldn't be mentioned. He wouldn't have a memorial, man. All right. Verse 10. But these were merciful men whose righteousness have not been forgotten. We just read it in Hebrews, the 3rd chapter. The righteousness and works and deeds of Moses has not been forgotten, man. That's why it's mentioned in the New Testament. That's why Yahweh mentioned Moses. That's why Moses is mentioned in Hebrews, the 3rd chapter, Hebrews, the 11th chapter. We read about Moses in the New Testament, man, because his righteousness has not been forgotten. All right. Now it's going to go on to mention men of the Lord. I'm going to jump down to verse 16. Ecclesiastes chapter 44 and verse 16. These are all elect men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Enoch pleased the Lord and was translated, being an example of repentance to all generations. Noah was found perfect and righteous. In the time of wrath, he was taken in exchange for the world. Therefore was he left as a remnant unto the earth when the flood came. An everlasting covenant was made with him, that all flesh should perish no more by the flood. Abraham was a great father of many people, and glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful. All right, I'm going to jump down. Verse 22. With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. Like I said, and Moses is Jacob in the reincarnation, if you can receive it. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him inheritance and divided his portions among the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's go to chapter 45. This the point. Sirach 45 and 1. And he brought out of him a merciful man, which he found favor in sight of all flesh, even Moses, beloved of the Most High, and men whose memorial is blessed. So the memorial of Moses is blessed, man. So if Moses had departed from the faith and went off, died an unbeliever, you know, his memorial, he would have no memorial of righteousness, man. His works wouldn't be remembered and talked about, man. All right. So Moses, all right, his memorial, the memorial of Moses is blessed, man. That's why we talk about him to this day. All right. So Moses is a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. All right. Moses is a man of the Lord. All right. So this guy, General Mahayaman, ISUPK, they're false prophets. They going the hell off once again, man, waxing worse and worse, man. All right. Let's close out with this. All right. This is after Yahweh shall return and the elect is beamed up. All right. And we've gotten a victory, Lord willing, we be of that number. Revelation 15 and 1, you see the subheading, a scene of heaven. And I saw another sign in heaven, a great and marvelous 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the name and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass having the harps of the Most High. This is the point. Revelation 15:3. And they sing the song of who? And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High. So even in Revelation, all right, Moses is still being reverenced, man. Moses is still being mentioned as a servant of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So what the hell are you talking about, General Mahayaman? All right, Revelation 15:3 again. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord, power almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. So Moses is a servant of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Moses didn't fall out of the truth. Moses didn't depart from the faith. Moses didn't die an unbeliever. Moses went out honorably, man. All right. That's why the Lord hid the gravesite of Moses, man. Because Moses is a servant of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and the Lord was not going to allow Satan to use the body of Moses to push and promote idolatry and wickedness, man. So Moses was, is, and always will be a servant of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. It's no greater. The Lord dealt with Moses face to face. All right. Moses was one of the greatest prophets, man. Is one of the greatest prophets. All right. So Moses never fell out of the truth. Moses never denied Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Moses never gave up, man. Moses endured to the end. All right. He simply had to deal with punishment. That's all that was, man. He simply had to deal with his punishment, man. All right. So I pray that this has been edifying to the elect through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and will in all truth and sincerity. Shalom, peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. The house of David, starting with the 144,000, followed by the 1/3 remnant. Ababa Ball, Shalom.